It's 6 o'clock on Monday, the 7th of October 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the English edition of Ora News. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. Albin Kurti and his Vetëvendosje movement party have triumphed in Kosovo's general elections held yesterday and is expected to become the Kosovar Prime Minister for the next 4 years. The nationalist-led opposition party received 25.5% of the votes, while the Democratic League of Kosovo got 24.9%, Kadri Veseli's Democrats 21%, and the Prime Minister-led AAK-PSD coalition, led by acting Prime Minister Ramush Haradinaj, trailed with only 11.5%. From these results, Kurti has secured about 30 out of 120 possible seats in the parliament, the LDK 29, the PDK 26 and the AAK PSD with 14 MPs. Due to the absence of an absolute majority, Kurti invited the LDK opposition and his rival Vjosa Osmani to cooperate. Prime Minister Haradinaj acknowledged the defeat, said his decision to resign in August was the right one, as the results had proven. The new political configuration has also jeopardised the parliamentary representation of the two political parties, Fatmir Dimaj's Initiative and Bejet Patsoli's New Kosovo Alliance, which seem unlikely to achieve the 5% vote threshold. Meanwhile, snap elections have a positive outcome for the minority Serb List party, which has secured its best election result to date with nearly 48,000 votes, or 6.7%. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, while not concealing his optimism, said that with the victory of the Serbs, he expects the new executive to change attitudes on issues such as taxes and continuing dialogue between the neighbouring countries. Sunday's elections took over 43% of the population and the process was quiet, as assessed by President Hashim Thaçi and the foreign factor in the country. Meanwhile, the CEC spokesman in Kosovo, Vladimir Elezi, informs that the counting of the votes of convicts, voters of people with special needs or in hospitals, and those from the diaspora has also begun. In Albania, about half of the prosecutors and judges who have gone through the vetting process have been dismissed. The diplomatic corps and justice leaders believe that the new justice relies heavily on the new generation of magistrates. Attending the graduation for 25 of our most recently accredited magistrates, the United States Deputy Ambassador Leila Moses-Onis described the efforts of young people as extremely important, though she also urged them to be careful. Your journey will put you in the position to build and maintain Albania's new judicial system for future generations. It gives you the tremendous power to build precedent through verdict after verdict, day after day, in a fair and transparent, corruption-free judiciary. I urge you all to become an agent for change for a free, fair and more democratic Albania. Exercise this new power with your responsibility. Represent your new profession honourably and perform your duties ethically, said Leila Moses-Onis. The European Union Ambassador Luigi Soreca has considered the magistrates as doctors who will heal the justice, while the OSCE head regarded them as the country's hope. Judges are like doctors. They either save lives or ruin them if incompetent and irresponsible. There is nothing worse or more devastating for the soul than injustice or delayed justice. So while proud today, and rightly so, you also have a new big responsibility for tomorrow. Take pride in your achievements and humbly serve tomorrow. May you all have a great career ahead. Also, a big congratulations to your families, partners or friends who are here today. They should be proud of you, said Luigi Soreca. I encourage you, the youth generation of judges and prosecutors, to do your best, and we all hope you invest in the justice reform. For this reform to become a reality, the future of your country is on your shoulders. You must be aware of the responsibility that comes to you the moment you take that oath, said Bernd Borchardt. For Minister Etilde Jonaj, restoring faith and justice is of the utmost importance. Also attending the graduation ceremony, the Chief Prosecutor, Arta Marku, emphasised that this is only the end of an alleyway, but it is the beginning of a difficult road. Over 70 judges and prosecutors who have left the system as a result of vetting will undergo another investigative process. With only 10 days to go before the EU issues their decision to open negotiations with the EU, Prime Minister Edi Rama has warned that all of them will be brought to justice. In fact, the stance also comes as a condition set by the Bundestag. I want to stress today what I have said from day one, which is that the building of justice takes time. Vetting allows us to clear out the system. Once that is completed, we can then look to punish those who have been removed. I am glad that this has also been returned as an obligatory condition by the European Union. Rest assured that those who have been excluded by vetting will be returned to stand before the remaining clean prosecutors and judges to account for their unjustified wealth. Be assured that all those who commit crimes today against the citizens to earn black money or to get salaries or big bonuses from criminal organisations will be brought to justice, said Prime Minister Edi Rama. He went on to assert that the ban on the former director of the property registrar in Durrës was unjust, emphasising that there are still prosecutors conducting robbery, taking advantage of the transitional period the justice system finds itself in. It often happens that the citizens are desperate for justice and want the government to declare on the matter. But we are independent of the justice system and we do not have the opportunity to intervene. You saw it last week with a flagrant case of violating the law and transforming a figure of the justice system into a representative of crime interests. And that will certainly not escape punishment, added Rama. So far, there are about 80 prosecutors and judges who have received the tick of approval following their participation in the vetting process, as such continuing their duty. The Prime Minister, Edi Rama, has also issued a public warning to the administration, as according to him, there are still employees who neglect the problems of the citizens. Croatia is one of the European states that unreservedly supports the opening of negotiations with Albania. Interior Minister Davor Bosanovic reconfirmed the stance and pledged assistance after a meeting with his Albanian counterpart, Sandor Leshaj, with which Ora News followed closely in the town of Zadar, a most symbolic bridge between the two countries. Asked by RTV Ora News, the Croatian minister highlighted the work done in the fight against illegal migration and increased border security, a priority for Balkan countries at a time when the number of third country nationals seeking to cross the border has increased through these states to touch Europe. Minister Leshaj also praises Croatian support, calling the green light they have given for the European integration important. Foreign Minister Gen Sarkaj also received support for the opening of the negotiations during a meeting with the Croatian Prime Minister. Courts have commenced a game of ping pong with the Haidari file, transferring it for the third time in just a few weeks. A few days after Tirana Court transferred the case to the Serious Crimes Court, the latter, at the request of lawyers and prosecutors, has decided to send it to the High Court. It seems that after its formation, this institution should finally decide on the level of jurisdiction for the Haidari file. Meanwhile, the court has overthrown Izzet Hajia's lawyer's request for release from jail, instead to remain under house arrest until the High Court can express their opinion. One of the defendant's lawyers stated outside the hearing that Hajia had been interrogated for several days by the Serious Crimes Prosecution for 23 charges alleged to have occurred between 1991 and 1999. After being extradited from Turkey, Izzet Hajia won a retrial after being convicted in Adsedja. Izzet Hajia has been found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in prison for the murder of Azem Haidari, but he has not accepted the charge and is seeking a retrial on the claim of processing new evidence. Despite the opposition of businesses and experts, the Economy Commission approved the law on investment corporation. The new opposition opposed the initiative, pointing out that it does legislate the PPP projects. They even accused it of being a form of pyramid scheme. But for the Deputy Finance Minister, Elton Haji, this draft has nothing to do with PPP projects, as it does not create costs in the budget. The law was revised following complaints from the IMF and the EC, who reviewed the draft on the public procurement law, but experts and businesses are sceptical as the law is very vague and creates overlaps across multiple institutions. And And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.